We spend our lives chasing approval, bending under invisible expectations that quietly crush us. The cost of pleasing everyone is heavy, stealing joy, authenticity, and freedom. This video exposes the hidden burden, showing how pressure controls us and how breaking free can change everything. Chapter 1: The Hidden Weight We All Carry. We all carry something that no one else can see. It doesn't sit on our shoulders like a bag of bricks, and it doesn't make a sound when we walk. Yet it's there, pressing down, shaping the way we move through life. Expectations. They slip into our lives quietly, like invisible stones dropped into a backpack we never agreed to wear. Think about the first time someone told you to be good, make them proud, or don't disappoint. At first, those words feel light, almost harmless. But over time, they stack up. Family wants you to succeed, friends want you to fit in, society wants you to perform, and you want to prove yourself. Each demand adds another stone. The backpack grows heavier, even though no one else can see it. The strange thing is, we learn to walk with this weight as if it's normal. We smile, we laugh, we go to work, we celebrate birthdays, we post pictures online. On the surface, everything looks fine. But inside, the backpack digs into our shoulders. It changes our posture. It makes us tired in ways sleep can't fix. And because it's invisible, people around us rarely notice. Imagine standing in a crowd. Everyone looks free, but in reality, each person is dragging their own invisible load. Some backpacks are small, some are enormous. Some people carry expectations of being perfect parents, others of being flawless students, others of being endlessly productive. The weight is different, but the silence is the same. Nobody talks about it. Nobody admits how heavy it feels. This silence is part of the burden. We're told that pressure is normal, that it's just life. But deep down, we know it's more than that. It's not just responsibility, it's the fear of letting people down. It's the quiet panic of not being enough. It's the invisible hand that pushes us to smile when we want to cry, to say yes when we want to say no, to keep walking even when our legs are shaking. And here's the truth. The backpack doesn't just weigh us down, it shapes us. It decides how we act, how we speak, even how we dream. Sometimes we don't chase what we truly want because the backpack whispers that's not what they expect of you. Sometimes we don't rest because it says you'll disappoint them if you stop. If you've ever felt this, you're not alone. Millions of people walk through life carrying invisible burdens, pretending they're fine. And maybe that's why this story matters. Because once we see the backpack, once we admit it's there, we can start asking questions. Why am I carrying this? Who put these stones inside? Do I really need to keep them? Before we go further, let me pause here. If you've ever felt the weight of expectations pressing down on you, if you've ever wanted to understand why it feels so heavy, then this journey is for you. And if you want to keep exploring these hidden pressures with me, make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss the next step in uncovering how expectations control us and how we can finally break free. Because the backpack isn't just about weight, it's about identity. It's about the silent ways we bend ourselves to fit into shapes that don't belong to us. And once we see that clearly, everything changes. So take a moment. Picture your own invisible backpack. What's inside? Whose voices are echoing in there? And how long have you been carrying it without stopping to notice? The journey begins here with awareness. Once we see the hidden weight, we can start to understand how it shapes our lives. And that's where the story leads next. Chapter 2: When pressure starts running your life. At first, expectations feel like gentle nudges. They whisper, do your best, make them proud, don't let anyone down. But over time, those whispers grow louder. They stop being suggestions and start becoming rules. And before we realize it, The invisible backpack we carry isn't just heavy, it's steering us. Pressure has a way of slipping into the driver's seat. It decides what we say, how we act, even what we dream about. Think about the choices you've made that weren't really yours. Maybe you studied something because your parents thought it was practical. Maybe you stayed in a job because society told you success meant stability. Maybe you smiled when you wanted to scream because you didn't want to seem ungrateful. Each of those moments is proof. Expectations can run your life without you noticing. The strangest part is how normal it feels. We convince ourselves that this is just how life works. We wake up, put on the mask, and move through the day. We laugh at jokes we don't find funny. We agree to plans we don't want. We chase goals that don't belong to us. And all the while, the backpack whispers, "Keep going. Don't stop. Don't disappoint." It's like living in two worlds. On the outside, everything looks fine. You're functioning, you're achieving, you're fitting in. But inside, there's a quiet war. The real you wants freedom, wants authenticity, wants rest. The pressured you insists on performance, insists on perfection, insists on pleasing. And because the pressure is invisible, nobody else sees the battle. They just see the mask. This is where Jungian psychology offers a powerful lens. Jung spoke about the persona, the mask we wear to meet the world, and the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves we push away. Expectations feed the persona. They polish it, decorate it, make it look flawless. But the shadow grows heavier, filled with the parts of us we silence. The more we live for expectations, the more distance we create between who we are and who we pretend to be. And that distance hurts. It drains energy. It creates anxiety. It makes us feel like strangers in our own lives. Imagine walking through a house that looks perfect on the outside, but is crumbling inside. That's what happens when pressure runs your life. You keep painting the walls, but the foundation is cracking. Sometimes the signs are subtle. You feel exhausted even after resting. You feel numb in moments that should bring joy. You feel restless when you're alone because silence makes the backpack louder. Other times, the signs are dramatic. Burnout, breakdown, a sudden realization that you don't even know what you want anymore. Think about how many decisions you've made not because you wanted to, but because you felt you had to. How many times have you said yes when your heart screamed no? How many times have you smiled while your chest felt heavy? These are the fingerprints of pressure. They mark your life in ways you don't always notice until you stop and look closely. And here's the painful truth. The longer pressure runs your life, the harder it becomes to hear your own voice. The backpack grows so loud that it drowns out your instincts. You stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "What do they expect?" You stop living for yourself and start living for approval. But awareness is the first crack in the mask. Once you notice how much pressure controls you, you can begin to question it. Why am I chasing this? Who am I trying to please? What would I do if nobody expected anything from me? These questions are uncomfortable, but they're powerful. They shine a light on the invisible strings pulling you. Pressure doesn't just weigh us down, it rewrites our story. It tells us who to be, how to act, what to dream. And unless we stop and notice, we risk living a life that isn't ours. So, pause for a moment. Think about your day. How many of your actions were truly yours? How many were shaped by invisible expectations? The answers might surprise you, and they might be the beginning of something important. The realization that you don't have to let pressure run your life forever. Chapter 3, Breaking Free from the Burden. There comes a moment when the weight becomes too much. The backpack of expectations, the strings of pressure, the masks we wear, they all start to feel unbearable. And in that moment, something shifts. We realize that carrying this invisible burden is not the same as living. It's surviving, it's performing, it's pretending, but it's not living. Breaking free doesn't happen in one dramatic gesture. It begins quietly, with awareness. You notice the heaviness. You admit the exhaustion. You recognize that the choices you've been making aren't truly yours. That recognition is the first crack in the wall. It's the moment you stop pretending the burden doesn't exist. The act of letting go is not about rejecting responsibility or abandoning people you care about. It's about choosing which stones belong in your backpack and which don't. It's about asking, whose expectations am I carrying? Do they align with my values, or are they crushing me under someone else's vision of who I should be? Imagine setting the backpack down, even for a moment. The silence would feel strange. The absence of weight might feel uncomfortable, even frightening. Because we've grown used to the burden, it has become part of our identity. But in that silence, something new emerges. This is where authenticity begins. Authenticity is not about being perfect or pleasing everyone. It's about being real. It's about saying yes when you mean yes, and no when you mean no. It's about showing up without the mask, even if that means being vulnerable. And vulnerability, though scary, is the doorway to freedom. Think about the times you've said no and felt relief. Think about the moments when you chose rest instead of productivity, honesty instead of performance, solitude instead of social obligation. Those moments are glimpses of freedom. They are proof that you can live without the constant weight of expectations. Of course, breaking free is not easy. The world will resist. People will question. Society will push back. You may hear voices saying, "You've changed, you're selfish, you're disappointing us." But those voices are echoes of the burden you're trying to release. They are reminders of the strings you're cutting. And cutting strings always makes noise. The challenge is to hold steady in the face of that noise, to remind yourself that freedom is not about pleasing others. It's about living in alignment with your truth. It's about carrying only what belongs to you. Jung spoke of individuation, the process of becoming whole, of integrating the shadow and the persona into a balanced self. Breaking free from expectations is part of that journey. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself you silenced, the dreams you buried, the voice you ignored. It's about stepping into your own story instead of living someone else's script. Picture yourself standing in front of the backpack, the strings, the mask. One by one, you begin to release them. You take off the mask and your face feels lighter. You cut the strings and your arms move freely. You set down the backpack and your spine straightens. For the first time, you feel the ground beneath your feet without the weight pressing down. Freedom doesn't mean the world stops expecting things from you. It means you stop letting those expectations define you. It means you choose consciously which roles to play, which responsibilities to accept, which voices to listen to. It means you live with intention, not obligation. And in that choice, life changes. You laugh more freely. You rest without guilt. You create without fear. You connect with others, not because you're performing, but because you're present. The burden no longer runs your life. You do. Breaking free is not a destination. It's a practice. Every day, you will face new expectations, new pressures, new masks. But every day, you also have the chance to choose differently. To pause, to breathe, to ask, does this belong to me? And if the answer is no, you can set it down. The cost of pleasing everyone is heavy, but the reward of living authentically is priceless. It's the difference between surviving and truly living, between carrying invisible burdens and walking freely, between being controlled by pressure and being guided by your own truth. So, take a moment now. Imagine yourself without the backpack, without the strings, without the mask. Imagine the lightness, the freedom, the space. That vision is not just a dream, it's possible. And it begins with one simple act: letting go.